guys, how's it going? It's Al, DraftKings Week 6. We're going to take a first look at everything that there is. There's going to be some values that pop open as the week goes on. They always do at this time of year. Injuries cause massive value and shifts in what the chalk could be. We're going to build a tournament lineup for this Week 6 main slate. There's 11 games on it. We get one game more than we had last week. I like bigger slates, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's more opportunities to get different. Last week, chalk attacked. This week, we'll see how it goes, but we're going to build a double stack, bring back secondary stack lineup to try and take advantage of getting all the way to the top of the tournament sheet. So thank you guys for being here. If you want to become a channel member, go to smizzle.tv/join. That'll open up all the VIP rooms in our Discord at smizzle.tv/discord, including the Al Smizzle cheat sheet that comes out every single Friday to help you build lineups for the weekend. It's got under 10% tournament plays, stacks, cash games, positional top values, 5 of them at each one of those, to try and help you be more efficient and build your lineups. Get into Discord today and become a part of our Smiz Gang community in that Discord and have somebody to talk about daily fantasy, NBA, NFL, showdown, cash games, tournaments, whatever you want at any given time, because daily fantasy can be an extremely isolating game, but we have a fantastic community curated over the last 7 years in that Discord for Twitch subscribers and YouTube channel members, $5 a month. So drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League is posted for Week 6, 4,500 entry spots, $10 to enter, 3 max. You can see there is nobody in there yet. You could be the first one to join. I know how much you guys like being first because I see you type first, second, third down in the replies all the time. Go to smizzle.tv/links. This game does not exist in the lobby. Absolutely no rake. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings. 10% of the prize pool goes to first. 10% of first goes to 10th. And I will shout out all the winners on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. You can go to smizzle.tv/FF, where the Week 5 recap video lives. And it is probably posted by the time you're watching this video on YouTube. See how my cash game lineups, my tournament lineups, and the 10 top finishers from the Smiz Gang Listener League last week went. Let's take a look at this slate that we have coming up next week. We still have as you can see, the Monday night game has not gone off yet. So we record this on Mondays. Thursday night, we got the Broncos and the Chiefs. So we got Baltimore against Tennessee, total of 40 in this one. Baltimore favored by 3.5. We'll see if the Ravens can catch anything like a cold this week. They couldn't catch a damn thing in Week 5. 49ers up against the Browns, 39.5 here. 49ers look like world beaters at this point. Carolina against Miami, 14-point favorites. So, like, if you're in a Survivor League, you're picking Miami this week, right? If you still have them available. Like, this is probably the highest win probability on the slate, but you know how these things work. It always goes kind of funky and weird. 48.5 is the total there, which means what? 24.25 plus 7. That's high. 31 for a team total is extremely high, but Panthers extremely exploitable on the ground. Seahawks kind of a pass funnel. Bengals favored by 2.5, and yes, I do believe that Chase just caught another ball already. 46.5 the total there. Indy, the Colts face the London Jaguars, who are making the trip across the pond back here to the United States to their 48, their base in the 48 contiguous. 45.5 in this one. Vikings and the Bears, 46.5. Bears 3-point dogs. Saints and the Texans, 41.5 is the total here. A lot of low totals. Atlanta goes and faces off at home against the Commanders. Commanders allowing a ton of sacks. Falcons can't get any pressure on the quarterback. Something's got to give. Patriots and the Raiders. Raiders favored by 3 in this one. Jets and Eagles in the afternoon. And Lions travel to Tampa Bay. 2 very good defenses. Could be a slow, sloggy, bully ball sort of game. Arizona and the Rams, up pace game, 47 total here, and then we get to the night games after that. So let's kind of go back here and take a look at the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts, 8,200, had one of those 30-plus point games, did drag 2 guys along with him, and only threw 1 touchdown in this spot. We talk about this all the time. What if the quarterback's a mobile quarterback? Should you double stack the quarterback? What if the quarterback is this guy? Should I double stack that guy? Isolate. Anytime that you're playing a quarterback in a GPP, you are looking to be right. Okay. And by be right, you kind of have to isolate for the times that quarterback's going to have 30 plus DraftKings points. Well, guess what? 1 touchdown pass on the day, 6 catches for 127 is 21.7 fantasy points. And at tight end, Dallas Goedert, 8 catches for 117, 1 touchdown, 28.7 fantasy points. You add all that up, a lot of freaking points. So yes, Hurts is somebody that I want to double stack because when he has his big games, it's going to be a situation that's going to drag along multiple guys. Same thing goes for Tua. Both touchdowns last week. One went to Hill, one went to Waddle. 300 passing yards. Majority of his stuff went through Hill. Hill has been targeted at such a high percentage this year versus last year. And the games that he's not are the games that they're blowing people out. But even in these games where they do score a ton of points, 31 points, 181 yards in a blowout, 157 yards, 9 catches in a massive blowout. This game got out of hand. They didn't have to, they just couldn't get the ball to him the wrong way. A positive game script for that passing game just didn't work out for Tyreek Hill in that game. They just don't play very many snaps where they are close. Going back to the quarterbacks, Goff on the road against Tampa Bay. Lawrence playing at home. I mean, their second home, right? Jacksonville is their second home. They're basically a European team at this point. He's been very consistent, but hasn't had a tournament-winning day for us so far. But very good through the air, completing a lot of passes. A lot of guys that need to get fed, though, between Ridley and Kirk and Ingram. The one guy who's been fantastic has been ETN. Based on what he's gotten so far, right? Look at the amount of opportunities here. 26 plus 5, that's 31. 20 plus 3, that's 23 opportunities. Against Houston, 24 opportunities. The only week he didn't was the week against Kansas City. Week 1, 23 opportunities. This is prime. Home, favored, running back, inside the 5 carries, way more involved in the passing game than he has been in years past. This is a fantastic spot once again for ETN, but a lot of the running backs have been priced up on this slate. At one spot we do have to talk about, AR-15 looking to be sidelined for about 4 to 6 weeks because of the grade 3. How many grades of AC sprains? Like I always like, oh, this is a grade 2. This one's a grade 4. This is a grade. How many grades? Are there like 7 grades? Are there 3 grades? Are there 3 and this is the worst grade? Or like are there 5 and this is like a medium? Or is this like the Thai spicy where like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being spiciest, but if you go to a Thai restaurant, 3 is medium? Like, what level of AC sprain is this? I need some cosplay Stefanias to jump in chat and let me know, is grade 3 medium? Is it high? Is it the highest? Like, what is the scale that we're working with? But Gardner Minshew now opens up at 5,000. And as good as Anthony Richardson is for fantasy, and as much as we've been spamming him in cash games the first 3.5, 4 weeks of the season, Gardner Minshew, a much better option in terms of double stacking because he's just not going to be the guy who vultures touchdowns with his legs. They're not going to limit him on throwing the football. The couple of times that he has filled in, 44 opportunities, 14 in relief in this game, 23 in relief against Houston. We're going to get the opportunities, which means that we should see guys like Pittman, who's a very good receiver, but limited by the low volume passing offense, even though he was the number 1 guy. Now should see increased volume, and that's going to wake up value in Josh Downs, who went off the one game where he started there, went off in relief after AR-15 left there, and Pierce is a little bit more opened up in that situation as well because you have a quarterback who's going to throw the ball to a multitude of different receivers. But as I said on the week 3 buy low, Justin Fields was a buy low candidate. Tough defense, tough defense, tough defense. Then he got Denver, 32 fantasy points. Then he got Washington, 33 fantasy points. Now he gets Minnesota, a defense that we've wanted to attack basically every single week of the season, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon, considering how many fantasy points and how many yards and how much stuff just happens to them anytime they're playing against anybody. So Justin Fields right in the middle of this great stretch where there's like 2 tough teams. He's going to play Detroit, and then they got one other game later. There's going to be a lot of Justin Fields coming. I would be shocked if his price, based on this easy stretch of the schedule that he's going to have, doesn't end up being like an 8K to 8,500 quarterback by the end of the month. If he doesn't, it would mean he did nothing with this very easy patch, which doesn't seem like it's going to be anything that's going to be realistic, considering how involved they have been able to get DJ Moore against tough opponents like KC and Tampa Bay, and specifically against bad opponents like Washington and Denver, bad defenses, where he has had 52 and 30 fantasy points. He scored 52 fantasy points last week on DraftKings and was the wide receiver 2 in Thursday through Monday games. Whew. Tough scenes when you got 3 touchdowns, 230 yards on 8 catches. You're the wide receiver 2 on the week. Anyway, I'm going to make sure I plug that primary guy in with him on the secondary stack. If you want to go with Mooney, fine. Pretty limited. I want to put a tight end in this stack. 4,600 for Kmet. He has come up from the 4,000 that he was 2 weeks ago. 14 targets. The last 2 games, 3 targets. Could see some regression in terms of that, but we could be able to pay this off. And if this game goes as nuclear as I think that it could go, this is a high probability of shootout with 2 defenses that can't stop the thing that the other team does. And the Bears giving up the 3rd most DraftKings points to opposing running backs. 145 yards allowed per game from scrimmage and 1.6 touchdowns allowed per game to the position. Aren't you worried about bros are in shambles right now? Because I'm not really worried about Cam Akers taking the job. This was not a good spot last week against Kansas City. He did happen to catch a touchdown late to salvage it just a little bit. Has been very efficient with everything he has been doing. Yes, he has lost a fumble. Running backs fumble sometimes, guys. But Madison in this situation against this Bears defense, assuming the volume in, let's say, neutral to positive game scripts, with the extra targets that are going to get vacated in the passing game, with the injury to Justin Jefferson, should he miss this game with the hamstring that he's dealing with, if you want to go with one of the other pass game options, whether it's Hawkinson, whether it's going to be Addison, whether you think KJ Osborne gets more run than he's been getting, that's all fine. I'm going to go a different route with Madison against the Bears because I like to attack the Bears with opposing running backs. Let's go to the running back spot. There's a few 5-box guys. If you don't know what the 5-box running backs are, they are the guys who are playing at home, favored, expectation of 20 opportunities on the week. Goal line touches, goal to go touches, all that sort of stuff. Those are the 5 boxes that we deal with every single week. Chris McCaffrey on the road, he's been outstanding. One of these weeks, he's going to not score a touchdown. I don't know when that week's going to be. Cleveland's a tough defense. They are on the road, but like this offense, way too efficient. Purdy doing a great job of getting the ball to all the guys who do such a great job of getting separation. Some teams have 1 guy that can separate. Some guys have 2. Some teams have 2. He has 3 passing options that with Kittle and Debo and Ayuk, who can constantly get open. He's doing a fantastic job of delivering the ball on time and on target. And then he's got maybe the best weapon in the league at running back, Christian McCaffrey, doing everything that he has to do. So they're going to make red zone trips and goal to go trips. He's 9,500 though, which is extremely expensive. Devon A-Chain up to 7,400. Regression bros in shambles. 100 yards, 3 straight games. Averaging 11.3 yards per carry, 12.6 yards per carry, 13.7 yards per carry, 76-yard touchdown, 55-yard touchdown, 67-yard touchdown. Oh my God. 7,400 against the Carolina defense. We're just attacking bad defenses with running backs this week. Carolina has allowed 126 yards per game on the ground to opposing running backs. They have allowed an awful lot of touchdowns, the second most fantasy points per game to opposing running backs on DraftKings this season. A-Chan is I said A-Chain before. I apologize. I have to retrain myself to say A-Chan because I've been saying A-Chain all off season long. So apologies to Devon. But 7,400, we can definitely plug him in. I mentioned the Bears. There is a running back situation on the Bears for this week that we're going to have to monitor. Khalil Herbert, high ankle sprain. May or may not play this week. I'm going to expect no. Roshan Johnson, concussed last Thursday night. No player this season has come back in 1 week from a concussion yet. Definitely no quarterbacks. Maybe some other position player has, but the league is being a lot stricter about the returns from concussion. He took a ridiculous hit, like a NFL blitz level hit, and may not be back. So like if he's back, if he's not back, Blasingame, Homer's hurt. Blazingame's a fullback. Deontay Foreman's 4,400. So like you get an easy plug and play 4,400 to release a little salary if you wanted to go with Cousins stacks on the other side, or just use them as a standalone value play. Let's take a look at the rest of the running backs really quickly. Walker against Cincinnati is fine. Taylor and Moss are going to be a question mark for a lot of people all week long. Taylor did not really participate in preseason. No preseason games. He was sidelined with a back injury that he said was not a back injury during preseason, then was not at any team practices the last month. He is now back. He got 7 opportunities this week. The team has come out and said, we're going to ramp him up over the next month. So by November, I think we're going to see old school Jonathan Taylor, meaning 25 opportunities per game, which is essentially new school Zach Moss, who is getting those 25 opportunities a game. He's been tremendous. Another fantastic game last week. This offense is better than anybody expected them to be. I think Moss was at like 95% of the running back touches and snaps. And let's say whoever was behind him, now it's Taylor. I think that's going to go from like 90 or 85 to like 75, 65, 50, 50. And then you're going to see it just avalanche towards JT. So like right now, it's tough to know what's going to happen. They are on the road. They are underdogs. Where I sit on Monday, I still think Moss is the guy this week, just like he was last week. Kyron Williams at home and favored 5 boxes. A lot of weapons in the passing game. Obviously, with Cooper Kupp back, Puka Nacua being as good as he is, Kyron Williams is a fantastic play, but I can't afford him with this lineup that I want to build. I do think that as a 5-box running back, he is going to be in play this week and probably extremely popular. We saw Breece Hall have the monster game that people have been waiting for from him. The shackles are off, 25 opportunities, busted that 72-yard touchdown. Even without that, he had over 100 yards against the Denver Broncos defense. They are the worst defense in the league against the running backs. But the Philadelphia Eagles, not the worst defense against running backs. So he'll still get volume. He just won't be as efficient as he was. But on the other side of the ball, the Jets have not been all that efficient against running backs. And DeAndre Swift has been what we wanted him to be the last couple of years in Detroit. 16.8, 6 targets. 17.9, 4 targets, 18 opportunities. 17.8, 2 targets, 18 opportunities, and 31 opportunities against Minnesota back in week 2. I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift here at 6,100 and fill our flex spot. At defense, let's just get a cheap D. Fine, there, good. Whatever. Tampa Bay, 2,300. 5,100 left to spend. I mentioned, that we want to get some sort of cheap option in here at wide receiver. I mentioned Josh Downs. I'm not going to project 12 targets for him, even with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, but for 4,100, getting 6 to 8 targets a game is way more than enough. They are also slot targets, which are easily convertible from targets into catches. The kid has juice, and even though he's a slot receiver, 16.2-yard average, 17-yard average, a 30-yard long, a 38-yard long, a 22-yard long. This is a kid that can go, and getting the ball in his hands in space when there are other players that can make things happen around him has provided a very fruitful option for this Colts offense, leaving us 6,100, and I need a bring back play, and it's got to be a wide receiver. Father Time may be undefeated, but he hasn't come calling yet. For Adam Thielen, 13 targets in week 5, 14 targets in week 3, 8 in the revenge game against Minnesota, 30.7, 15.2, 34.5, a team that is constantly in catch-up mode, playing from behind all the time. And he just finds ways to earn those targets consistently because the rest of the passing game with Laviska Shenault, the rookie Mingo, everybody else that's out there, Terrace Marshall, just aren't good at commanding targets. And Adam Thielen, as old as he is, as long in the tooth, he can't get downfield, all those other things. DraftKings is full PPR with 100-yard bonus, and Miami should be playing from ahead in this game. As long as it doesn't blow out and get absolutely absurd, like 40-6, Adam Thielen should be set to get himself another 8 to 12 target game at 5,900. Filling out this lineup with Fields, double stacked with Moore and Kmet, bringing that back with Alex Madison, A-Chain to Thielen, Downs as a one-off against Jacksonville, DeAndre Swift against the Jets, and a cheap defense. You can get up to 2,500 there if you wanted to. I wish you the best of luck this week. Go check out the recap video on the Fantasy Football channel. Look out for another video right here, right there.
He's a legend.